students still. How do your teachers gauge or measure your performance in terms of the affective domain? Kasi nilalagay natin, di kayo favorite siya pa mo, king objective, di ba? To value, to appreciate. Now, how do we assess that? What type of assessment do we give our learners in cases we would like to assess the affective domain?
Siguro po, sir, pag yung topic is nire-relate nila or ina-apply nila into real life.
So how would you know? Are you going to interview these learners in at home? In real life, what do you do, Amo Carela? Kaya naman, munta ka Kimbaleda. Okay, surprise, I'm going to test whether you apply your lesson, okay, in terms of the affective domain. Tatanungin ko mga magulang nyo, ma, nire-respeto po ba kayo ng anak niyo? May mga ganun ba? How do we know? Kasi nilalagay natin sa objective, but question is, how do we assess?
By means of observing po siguro, sir.
Okay, one possible thing as teachers we could do is by means of observation. Ngayon, ang tanong, okay, sige, that's the personal observation of this team. Do we grade? Like, do we put marks on the affective aspect of the learner? Halimbawa, na-observe mo, ay, may mulot siyang basura. Okay, 10/10 mo in terms of environmental protection. Ito mo kunyaring value. Do we grade this? Have you received a grade because of your, let's say for instance, values development? Yes, Ms. Ingente.
Sir, yes po, sir. For me po, sir, opo. Yung kahit yung mga simpleng magbigay ka ng incentive, sir, sa mga para po mas push
But
pa
in
nila na
terms of
gawin.
grades, like from 80 to 100, yung may mga 74, 75, may ganyan ba na binibigay ang teacher nyo when gauging your affective aspect?
Yes po, sir. Opo.
Nung naka-receive ka ng grade na gano'n.
Opo, sir. Kasi hindi lang naman po dapat tinitignan mo yung kung nagpo-push na, kung hindi lang naman po doon yung sa academic na performance nila,
Sige,
titignan
for
mo.
instance, Ms. Ingente, in terms of courage, ayan, anong grade lang na-receive mo?
Ano po, sir?
In terms of courage, in terms of honesty, anong grade ang na-receive mo? When you were, because you mentioned you received a grade or mark.
Sir, yung mark po na po, sir?
Grade, as in grade, like a number, numerical grading.
Kaya po, siguro, sir, kung additional grade po, dun sa...
No, like a separate grade. Did your teacher give you a score? Let's say, for instance, in terms of fear, Miss Ingente got 98 here kasi lagi siyang takot. Because that's values, okay? It's part of what we feel. Emotion yan eh. In terms of happiness, Miss Ingente got 99 kasi parehang masaya. Grade na ba yan, Miss Ingente?
Hindi po, sir.
Okay, so you now change your answer. Why?
Yung lang, sir, siguro, sir, yung remarks lang po. Yung katulad po dun sa likod po. Yung sa dinalagay po sa mga card po.
Correct. Okay.
Nila.
Ganon. Remarks or evaluative remarks stating that this is how you feel, hey, this is what your teachers has observed. But there are no specific grades na kunyari in math. Okay? I-cheat mo yung anak. Ano yung grade in cheating? Ala, iya mo mag-test perhaps. Okay? May allow mag-test, disregard mo yung score na. Pero ala yung there's no entry in the card that would stay. In terms of cheating, may nakuha yung 99 nga kasi Philip mag-cheat. Okay? In terms of happiness, Jenny, may nakuha yung 95. Kasi out of 30 days, 25 days ang mainit, ang 5 days poker face. We do not do that, okay? We observe, we give our judgment as teachers based on our observation, but there is no, I do not know of a teacher that would give grade yung mga 91 to 95 in terms of emotions. Kasi ang hirap i-gauge ng emotions. But now the question is, why do we need to assess the affective domain? It's part of the holistic development of a child that they need to also to grow emotionally. Okay, at alam nyo na yan, because we have CAP, no? It's not only cognitively, it's not only in terms of mobilization to the body or the kinesthetic, the psychomotor aspect, but also to develop this sense of emotional adjustment in case the child will face a situation that requires for him to adjust emotionally. Okay? But it's not graded. Merong nilalagay sa amin before, aside dun sa remarks, okay, nung nabaging remarks prior to the pandemic, yung huling card namin, mga letters like observed, not observed. Ganun kasimple. Ganun lang kasimple. Ang ina-assess ang affective domain. Kasi when we speak of the paper and pen test, ang dali lang i-rate niyan, no? Because that's cognitive. Okay, that's psychomotor. Pag psychomotor, let's say for instance, pag PE, bibilangin lang kung ilan yung nagmang push-up, that's already a grade. Diba? Sa PE, kung ilan yung na-shoot na bola sa ring, if it's basketball, if it's a dance step, merong criteria na sinusunod. Pero, if it's about emotion, ang hirap. It's so hard to gauge kasi how would you, in terms of happiness, criteria, smile, mo, 10%. Giggle, itong giggle ating tunog, itong ating yung tawa na may tunog, 30%. Alala mo ba kanta? Does it mean na pag makantita yung ID na, masaya yung masaya? Okay, again, I repeat, we have different reactions, behaviors showing our emotion. Okay. This will be our sequence for today. And I would like to announce that there will be no module reflection activity for tonight. Instead, you have to read and focus on the content of the pages which I sent you, plus this PowerPoint presentation, which I will upload, of course, in MS Teams. Okay, is that clear? Okay, okay. Okay, our session topic will be the assessment in the affective domain. Okay, naglagay ako ng kape dyan. Kasi affective domain yan, para kabahan naman kayo. Diba? Tingnan lang karog yan, overconfident. Israel, okay mo nga lang karog, diba, sir? Masaya naman daw. Pero too much confidence is not enough. Hanapin. Every time ito rin, sabi daw, according to research, kapag nag-prepare ka daw sa presentation, dapat may konting kaba. You're cognitively prepared, pero dapat daw yung nararamdaman mo, merong kaba. Pag walang kaba, kabahan ka na. It's either you are too confident to the point that, okay, so sobrang confident mo, okay, hindi mo na paniniwalaan yung sasabihin, let's say for instance, na nag-a-assess sa'yo. Because you're confident with what you are saying. There's no room for improvement. Dapat meron konting kaba, okay? Dapat meron yun. Huwag naman yung sobra-sobra, okay? Huwag naman yung sobrang kaba na hindi ka na makapagsalita. Itang menuling nakalabi king ngarap. Panay na yung panel, let's say for instance naman yanita kayo. Ako may kapanyanita, aliwanita. Not too much. Just enough amount of nervousness. Okay? Yung kaba na yun. And it's part of it. Yung nakakapagsaya, yung nakakapagpasaya, di ba? Yung may konting kaba. Nung walang karag, walang thrill. Okay? Remember that. So, ganun daw, pag nagtatanong ka sa mga bata, akit mo naman pag sobraya karog, waret. Okay, mga galya, Diyos ko na, di na meng time, chance to recover from that. Okay, no akit mga galya manuling nyo, may rugo pang dalasan, may panggilasan. Okay? Give time for that child to recover. Makikita ka rin naman sa loob ng classroom na meron nag-resign na napaka-overconfident. Okay? In too much confidence, I believe, and I believe my answer is true. Naniniwala ko na totoo at walang pwedeng magsabi na mali po ang sagot ko and too much confidence. So there's no room for improvement. Okay? There should always be humility like what we are saying. Okay. At the end of the chapter, students, kayo ito niya, just to remind you, kayo itong students sa ito, ala ng aliwa, potang mga kakalingwan niyo, will be able to, number one, explain the taxonomy in the affective domain and relate it to assessment. Of course, you are aware about Bloom's taxonomy of learning. Bali yun ito, right? Ali, sir, Emiya Bado. Actually, sir, bali niya kaso kakarog kami mag-yes, pata kasi mangutang ka. So, mas masanting na sir na sabihan ng Emmy value, sir. O, bala kayo. Nung bala, problema yun na ito. Okay. Alam nyo na yung Bloom's taxonomy. Yun nga yung CAP. Okay? The cognitive, the affective, and the psychomotor aspect. That's why, lagi instructions sa inyo, di ba? When you write down your objective, kailangan kompleto yung tatlo. Kaya lang, ang nagiging problema natin, what's the problem? When you write down the affective domain, we always use to value, to appreciate. O yan, eto na yung lesson na sasagot sa mga tanong nyo. I will teach you how to write the affective domain in different ways. Okay? Na hindi lang to value, to appreciate. To appreciate, kunyaring lesson day is about adjective. To appreciate adjectives. And I mean is, kung a lesson day is about sets, to appreciate sets. To value the importance of sets. Okay, maka-value na kayo na pag mag-check mo lesson plan. Okay, so ako nobre nga kakit din kaya pasa yung katang metong subject. Ha? Okay, next to design instruments for assessing effective learning. Okay, last time, I already introduced to you some instruments or tools that we use in assessment. Alam niyo na ang rubric. Okay, alam niyo na rin ang checklist. Okay, alam nyo rin yung observation and of course the other tools that we could use when we assess the performance of the child. Now, our focus here, our emphasis will be the tools or instruments that we use in order to assess the affective domain. Ano-ano nga ba yon? Okay, mamaya, palalaman natin. Okay, and these are the references I used for this session. Let's start with the first subtopic, which is the taxonomy in the affective domain. So let's ponder on this. Some are schooled but not educated. Some are schooled but not educated. What's your point of view about this one, Mr. Baila?
Kasi po sir, for example na lang po yung aso.
May
Di
aso.
ba ay, yung pong ibang sir,
Sige, tuloy ang aso. Kung aso ang
yung
example.
aso, yung aso po sir, hindi po makakaisip, pero ginagawa niya po yung ay, sir, panin lang po sir.
Relax, Mr. Baila. Kami lang daw. Okay, compose yourself. Okay, breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. Answer na.
Kaya, sir, for example na makaroon pong kay, tatagal pong kay, government po.
O, rendeng aso nga man, rendeng.
Aliwa po, sir, another level niya, aliwa po.
Sorry.
Bali po, ita pong ilapin po, sir, biyasa na po, pero gagamitan da po itang katalinuan da para mga rap po, aliwa po itang, para po,
so they are schooled? These
yes.
people are schooled?
Yes, sir.
Okay, pero, but they are not educated. Can we say that a person may be educated even without attending school? Could a person be educated even without attending school?
Yes, sir. Kasi po nag-uumpisa po lahat yan sa sa bahay po. Together with the help of the parents po. Together with the help of other people surrounding by him, the society po, pinabibilangan niya po. Ganun po.
Okay, at home, the community, okay, that's the building block of our values development. Okay, and of course, school is part of it. That's why you, as future teachers, will take part of that. Like what I'm always saying, it's not only the mind we are honing from our learners or to our learners. It should also be the honing of the heart. Okay? Pandayin mo yung isip niya, pandayin mo rin yung puso niya. Okay? And we are responsible, accountable in the development of both. Kasi if you produce purely intelligent people, there's a tendency that these people will become leader, perhaps in the future without a heart. Okay? Working without conscience, magnanakaw, papatay. Okay, ito ang solusyon. Ang dami niyang naisip na solusyon, ang dami niyang nalululutan na nalulusutan na problema, hindi nasusolusyonan, no? Okay, for personal gain, katalinuhan yun. That's intelligence. But if you hone these people with a conscience, okay, he graduated with a pure conscience, ayan, may konsensya, then you are producing a person who is not only intelligent but is also perhaps empathic, Okay, perhaps sensitive to the needs of other people. So yeah, some are schooled but not educated. That's what we mean by that. The school is not the gauge of values. Kasi yung values, alam nyo, values development, the affective domain, the development of the affective domain, tulad nga na nabanggit ni Mr. Baila, is not only something that we gain from school. Unlike yung mga subjects, academics na tinuturo, like math, science, English, subject verb agreement, natututunan natin yan sa school and sa book. Okay? But when we talk about the affective domain, it depends on the person that you are exposed to. It depends on the environment that you are exposed to. Now, your role as teacher, since they are opportune to be in your school, to be inside the classroom, is to balance kung meron mang mali. Itama kung ano man yung nakikitang mali. Okay? Kahit na maliit na aspeto lang yan, nag-iwan ng basura sa kantin, nakita mo, call the attention immediately. Okay, so they would know somebody is monitoring and there's someone correcting them. Kasi pag walang nagtama sa kanila, habang buhay nilang dadali ang tama yan. Okay? So that's what we mean by that code. Now, according to the taxonomy in the affective domain, we have the following levels now. Okay? We have receiving, we have responding, we have valuing, organization, and characterization by value. So receiving is being aware or sensitive to the existence of certain ideas, material, or phenomena. Okay, and then you are willing to tolerate. So, like for instance, you know it exists, then you receive it. Yan, it starts with awareness. Ayan, receiving is synonymous to the word awareness. Aware ka. Eh, syempre, pag mag-start ka, yan, sir. Pag ela aware, and the balong i-apply. Okay, parang isang bagay lang, paano malalaman ang courtesy, let's say for instance, yung respect, if you are not aware that about the concept of respect. Okay, halimbawa sa classroom, sinabi ni teacher, pag gumamit kayo ng po at opo, alam nyo ba na ito ay isang paraan ng pagrespeto dito sa Pilipinas? Pagpapakita ng respeto sa nakatatanda o kung sino mang kausap nyo. Okay, magiging aware yung bata na, gagamit kong po at opo kung pagkasabi kay Mac, tiro niya kasi ako ito. So, it means, i-respect ito. And that's receiving. Okay? Next is responding. Responding is committed in some small measure to the ideas, materials, or the phenomena involved by actively responding, okay, to the event, to the person. So in here, you will be able to comply, okay, you will follow, okay, you will commend, you will spend more time. Okay, halimbawa, naraman mo kung anong respect, nagtanong ka pa, in what other way do we show respect aside from point opo? That's already responding to the idea. That's already responding. Again, we are talking about the affective domain, okay? The taxonomy. I'm speaking about the different levels. Tingnan nyo kung saan na kayo. Pwede kasi yung iba, nasa receiving lang sila but they're not responding. Pwede naman yung iba, naabot nila yung dulo. Characterization by value. Sinasabuhay na nila. Okay, so it's a way for us to assess our learners. Nasaan na ba sila when it comes to the affective domain? Are they on the receiving level? Are they already responding on the responding level, valuing level, organization level, or characterization level? Next is valuing. This is the willingness to be perceived by others as attaching importance to certain ideas, materials, or phenomena. So example of this is let's say for instance, to support something, to debate on something. Okay, so if you're talking about respect, okay, eto na, nasa valuing ka na, no? Nag-respond ka na. Nagtanong ka pa about different ways how to respect. May kinontra kang isa. May I ask yung paggamit po ng po at opo kasi the people in Visayas, some people in Visayas are not using po and opo. Does it mean they are not respectful? Napakagandang tanong, di ba? Kasi sa lingwahe nila, wala talagang po at opo. Ano ka na sa valuing? You are already debating about the concept. What do we really mean by respect? Okay? Does it mean ito lang yung nakikita natin physically, observable by the eyes? Okay, what do we really mean by respect? Okay? So that's for the valuing level. You are already debating. Okay? It's either you go against or you support it. Okay? Pwedeng pro ka or you are against. Okay, next is the organization, which is relating the value to those already held and bring it into harmonious and internally consistent philosophy. This is the point in which you are already discussing. Okay, you are already theorizing. So therefore, I theorize that respect, okay, come in different forms. Andun ka na ngayon. Na pwedeng hindi sila gumagamit ng po at opo, pero may respeto sa pananaw nila nung nagsalita sila. Kasi, this is what we mean by respect. That respect, behavior that we show in order to demonstrate respect differs from person to person, from culture to culture. Okay, balumita na. You already have that theory in your mind kasi ano na kang karakal konseptong ni-research about respect. Okay, you are already in the organization level. You are already formulating your own philosophy in life, di ba? Views in life, worldview na tinatawag. Next is characterization by value. Or value set is to act consistently in accordance with the values he or she has internalized. So this is about the action. Okay, the action by means of you revise. Okay, you require a person to do this. You avoid, you resist. Ayan, iniiwasan mo, hindi mo ginagawa because you know it's not good. It's already characterization by value. And ang tanong, with all the values formation that you have received from your teachers, where are you now? Siyempre, sir, it could differ perhaps depende kung anong value yung pinag-uusapan. In terms of courage, in terms of courtesy siguro. Yung iba nasa valuing level, yung iba nasa characterization level. Okay? At natetestin ng panahon. Kayo lang ang nakakaalam niyan. And kayo lang ang nakakaalam. Ito yung mahirap kasi sa part ng teacher. Pag nasa classroom sila, we could test, we could observe. But what about how do they apply this affective domain, okay, etong progress nila, how do they manifest it outside? Kasi mas madalas, mas marami ginagawa nila sa labas. Doon nila pinapakita at wala na tayo doon. Kaya, okay, to give you a hint on some effective domain assessment tools, yung madalas na pinapagawa ng teachers is self-report. Like you would give them a situation, okay, sa test, di ba? At tatanungin mo, ano ang gagawin mo, ananitang potang. Yeah? Magsasagot kayo ng mga bata. Okay, through an essay type of test. Kung ako nasa sitwasyon ni Pepe, ni Maria, o ni Pedro, ang mga gagawin ko ay ang mga sumusunod. Di ba? That's already a way to assess the affective domain. You are just asking question. Di ba? So yun, kaya nga mapapansin nyo pag essay at subjective type ang test, di ba? Walang ibabagsak talaga because you are talking about the feelings, the emotions of the child. Pero pag ang essay is restricted type, yan nga, dahilan na pag essay kailangan nating score palagi kasi ating restricted type which requires facts. Okay? But if it's about the affective domain, may pwedeng i-zero yung ano. Okay, halimbawa nagpakita ka ng parol, 10 minutes na Miss Delphine, kailangan masaya. Nakakakit. So sabi ang Pedro ang malungkot siya, mapanakyan na kasirakang mo da. Pelakwaning anak. Mulok pelok lukanay king luwal. Tamay kwaya kang CCTV, pero wala ning anak. Kaya pelok lukanay king luwal. O may tulfo ya pa, Miss Delphine. Di ba? Wala no kantang sabihan ni Miss Delphine, yung kantulfo. Sorry po, Idol Rafi, mga Miss Tulfo, makanya. Kasi po, interviewan. Yung pa ask the principal na, of course, we do not want that. So, I repeat, if the question you are giving is in relation with the affective domain, okay, expect mo na that they will respond differently because they come from different background. Ngayon, kung sa palagay mo, yung sagot talaga ay parang wala din sa good side. Hindi yung pagiging mabuting tao yung na-develop. At talagang lumayo talaga. Pwede mo lang bigyan ng, let's say for instance, ng comment or suggestion sa baba. Okay, pwedeng wag lagyan ng score, pero meron kang suggestion sa baba. Or kausapin mo na yung bata. Baka may pinagdadaanan na personal. Okay, at kunyari mo, Kebit, paano ang tamang pangangalaga sa kalikasan? Kinilag, Kebit, magtapon ng basura. Sabi na kasing Sir Jeff, purely opinionated, kailangan niya score. Kung balutan na mo mali, it's not a general, it's not a common fact. Meron kasi tayo tinatawag na common fact eh. Like, hindi siya nasasabi as a fact in books, but it's commonly accepted by everyone. Ang pagtatapon ng basura naman talaga ay hindi pangangalaga ng kalikasan. Okay, so if that's the answer of the child, ibang values ang natatanggap niya. Okay, that's the time that you need to correct. Okay? Okay. Okay ni. Okay ni nga manuan kaya kayo. This is what I'm telling you para gumraduate natin to value the importance of sets. Yeah. Okay, to appreciate the importance of multiplication. Ano? Ano pang kebit ka kasi? Ayan. Appreciate the value. Okay. Under the receiving level, okay, these are the verbs, the behavioral verbs which you could use in your objective if you would like to state, okay, for the affective domain. First, ayan, to differentiate, to accept, to listen for, to respond to. Okay, that's under the receiving level. For responding, to comply with, to follow. You could see under the responding level, these are actions. Diba? Kilos na. Kaya nga respond, kailangan natin kimot eh. If they are already complying, following, commending, volunteering, spending time, acclaiming, that's responding level. To undervaluing, to increase measured proficiency in, to relinquish, to subsidize, to support, to debate. Okay, under the organization level, we have the organization. Ito na yung part na nag-a-analyze ka na. You are organizing your thoughts. And what do you do? To discuss, to theorize, to formulate, to balance, to examine. Under organization, I repeat, you already have the awareness. You already responded. Okay? You already have your stand. What you are doing under organization level is balancing your facts. Okay? Deciding what to do with the values that you received. Okay? And the under characterization, to revise, to require, to be rated high in the value of, to avoid, to resist, to manage, to resolve, to balance, to examine. So as you can see, in this tabular presentation, hindi lang pala value and appreciate ang mga words na ginagamit under the affective domain. Ang dami pala. And some others you would observe are verbs, are behavioral verbs that are also used in the cognitive aspect. Yes, kasi let's say for instance, for to differentiate, when you differentiate something, you are using the cognitive aspect, affective domain na rin pala yun. Kaya nga sinasabi ko sa inyo, not necessarily na kailangan tatlo ang nakasulat sa objectives. Kasi yung isang objective could be both targeting cognitive and affective aspect. Okay? Kayo mo, pito-pituyo lang eh. Ang dulo mo yan, balik ang to value, to appreciate, o yan. Some other objective statements are already targeting 1, 2, or 3. Okay? Just make sure na they really target the 3. Okay? But for the sake of your general demonstration, in the future, syempre, next year nito, taras damuhan then online graduates. Okay? Just to be safe at para hindi na magtanong ang inyong mga critic o kung sino man ang co-op nyo, gawin nyo ng 3. Okay? Kahaintindihan. Kasi po ila naman may orient about the objective being stated as cognitive, affective, and psychomotor stated into 1. Baka mamaya hindi nila nakuha itong subject na ito at nakalimutan na nila. Hindi palpalmi yung PowerPoint presentation mo, sir. Para lang pinsabihan. Ikamis to, sir. Ba't naman mo mag-adjust kami karo-correct? Ay, mo, para mo alam pinsabihan. At po tayo bigla na kong ibabakit ang part 8. Okay. At sabi ko napin kaya kayo, kailangan biyasa ko mag-adjust. Depende nyo yung tao kasabi yun. Okay. No, iting level na, karin ka. Okay, kanti tama yung pakasabihan. Anti tama yung i-approach. Again, interpersonal skills. Okay. Affective learning competencies. Okay, affective desired learning competencies are often stated in the form of instructional objectives. And napakita na natin yung mga behavioral objectives kung paano sila in-state. Okay? But in here, I would like you to observe kung ano ba yung specific actions na pinapakita ng tao when they are in that level. So for us to gain a better understanding about the different levels of the affective domain, since we're talking about the taxonomy of the affective domain, let's start with the receiving level, which is about the awareness. In here, the individual would read a book, passage about civil rights. Masaya pa. So you are aware kasi binasa mo. Eh? Binasa na mong JB, o balo na ng karapatang pantao na. Okay, ngayon aware na siya. Next, mag-respond na. No, actually, yung responding level, this is showing some new behaviors as a result of the experience of reading the book. Individual would answer some questions about the book and read another book by the same author, another book about civil rights. May curious yun. Karapatan ko pala. Enak pala dapat binastos in that case, JP. May masaya pa kaliwang libro yan. Okay. In other words, sir, you will only respond if you think the value being presented to you is interesting and useful to you. Yes. Okay? If it's not interesting to you, if it's not useful to you, may basa nyo, of course. Ignore. At saka kita ang receiving level. But, if you know it's meaningful, it's relevant to your life, magagamit mo, lalo na nung makarelate ka, habang babasa niya mo, Mr. Bailey, yung libro niya about civil rights, mangilig siya palwa, agaga na kano rin Pinoy, let's say for instance, inapida abroad, yung OFW. Yan pala ang puso kay masa niya. Yan na pala yung tutuking governor niya. Sir na ba, civil rights na yung sabihin mo, maleta mo, emotional, puta yung personal experience, di ba? Ayan. But I mean, you will be curious to do so, to review, to study more. But if it's not your interest, saka makarelate, you'll stop. Ganun yan, sa loob ng classroom. Kaya nga may motivation tayo sa ating lesson. Diba? Sa ating lesson plan. Nung na yung anak, alam makarelate yung motivation mo, yung teacher mo palang na-motivate na, super motivate yung pag-is. Ikaw mo palang Gina G, alam makarelate yung kaya kang motivation. Ay, ala, katapusan mo lang. There will be no responding level in the affective domain. Alam mag-respond. Bala ka dyan, mama, siguro. By the way, I'd like to commend the activities which you posted in MS Teams. Meron doon ako yung isa na natatandaan, ang ganda, no? Very timely at talagang sa palagay ko, this is just a personal opinion. Pag ginawa yun sa loob ng classroom, makaka-relate lahat ng mga bata kahit na nag-online sila. Yung cultural show through TikTok, okay, Miss Ingente yata yun, if I'm not mistaken, di ba? They could really relate with that if that's the type of activity which you are going to give, di ba? Kasi TikTok yung pisab yan. Tingnan mo rin nga may kay Balo yung TikTok yung kapanahonan na yun. Pala lang yung mga, Balo na yung TikTok. Okay? Yakbal ng ating ko account TikTok na. Pero ako, manakit ko, I could view, ala ko account TikTok. But it's a nice platform. At least they could relate, diba? Pag sinabing TikTok, balo na yung kawanda. Kumbaga yung content, in-introduce mo lang. Okay? Different culture, maybe cultural dance, diba? Pag tinikling mo through TikTok, ipang Miss Mendoza pandang sa ilaw ya, okay, sayaw sa bangko ni Mr. Fowler, okay, ba't magtinikling Miss Delphine, yang dili niya, magtinikling niya. Sir, makanano yung tanong yang dili Bala na ang tamawag pagking kawayan kay ba't lundag-lundag niya naman. So, solusyonan na ng Miss Delphine kasi may kaisip kaya ang TikTok ito, yung tiniklingin kinuha, no? Itinikling na yung sarili niya. Sir, pwede naman yan sa isiping naman pala. Marami naman kaya ng kawayan o akong tiya. Well, mas anting to, mas kung ano nga ka makarakal-views kayo, tinikling mo yung sarili mo. Okay. Next, valuing, showing some definite involvement or commitment. The individual might demonstrate this by voluntarily attending a lecture on civil rights. Kumbaga, it's an extension, di ba, of responding. You already responded, you read books, but now this time, gumawa ka pa ng ibang activity, extended activity to know more about civil rights. That's valuing. Okay, there is already this what we call commitment part. Organization, this is integrating a new value into one's general set of value, giving it some ranking among one's general priorities. So the individual might arrange a civil rights rally. Ay, may kapali na buntok. Dakal niya abalo about civil rights. Organize na rally. Okay, so pag-atune ka rin ni Mr. Bailo, let's say for instance, ikit tayo in the future na, ibagsak ka na. Okay, Okay, ay paglaban ng karapatang pantawa na kingdalan, aba, balutan ng ESS at tune kitang organization level when it comes to affective domain. Okay? But this is not only the way, okay, to show that you are on that level. Baka mamaya naman ituro natin sa mga bata, kailangan mag-rally kayo. Alin mo naman rally yung paralan to show that you are undervaluing level. What is important is that you integrate this new value into your general set of value. It could manifest in different ways. Okay? Last level is characterization by value, acting consistently with the new value. So the individual here is firmly committed to the value, perhaps becoming a civil rights leader. So sir, bala masakit ng i-achieve it ang last part ni kasi there is already this actualization. Like you need to commit yourself 100%. Yes, so ang hirap ng affective domain, akala nyo lang madali to appreciate na, to value, yung mo na. Pero o yan pala yung level, sir. Para kang napaladalanan. At pwedeng yung level pala is that yung kamuking receiving part for the sake of, let's say for instance, passing the subject. Bakit kung mukhang teacher ko nabalo ka, sir? Okay, I'm aware. Okay? Receiving level lang pala yun. It's shallow. O ngayon, pag may nakikita ka na dyan, let's say for instance, yung mga student leader na sila, at naririnig mo na sa salita nila, like when they talk, when they campaign, Daniel, let's say, iboto niyo ako bilang presidente at sinisigurado ko na ako ang magiging boses niyo. Nakikita niyo naman na ang nakaraang administrasyon, alam mo kunyari, SSG nomination for instance, ay walang boses at walang pangil, okay, kung ang pag-uusapan ay paglaban sa karapatan ng mga mag-aaral. Iyon ang kailangan nyo. At naniniwala ako na ako yun. Kung naman confident ka pa. Ang tita talaga, you should make the people believe in what you are saying. Another example, ikit kay Johnny, alang aliwan tao, let's say for instance, pinulot na yung kalat king kantin. Okay? Nilala na kebit na kasi nga, klego, naman kayo itang kalat na ito, naman kayo itang plato nga ito. Aba, I would know that Jenny is already in the characterization level. Okay? Acting na eh. Kumbaga, alam manakit pero gagawan na. Characterization by value. Okay? Maliwanag yun? Ang inibali na kung mag-assess. That's one way. Yung different levels, ina-assess nyo. Okay? Pwede kasi yung test, kung kalupak yung values education, at yung test, that's already the receiving level yun. Receiving level yun, awareness. Iba pa pag nag-respond sila, iba pa pag nagtanong sila, iba pa pag enact na nila. Okay. So, just to emphasize more about the behavioral verbs used in different levels, ayan. Sir, ulit-ulit. Bang, ginadwa kayo talagang slide yan, bang tumatakya kaya kayo na, bang ako na masyado makakit to value, to appreciate. To appreciate the importance of, kay batitang topic yun, ang tita kayo, papalitan niya itang topic. To appreciate the importance of, okay. Okay, let's talk about attitude. Since we are talking about the affective domain. Okay, then ma-attitude ka. Okay, when I say attitude, attitudes are defined as a mental predisposition to act that is expressed by evaluating a particular entity with some degree of favor or disfavor. In other words, this is your orientation towards something. Halimbawa, nakakita ka ng isang tao, what's your attitude toward that person? Kung ano yung orientation mo sa kanya. Do you like that person or not? Nakita ka sa ng isang event, what's your attitude toward that event? Okay? In other words, this could be a view, your point of view about something. Okay? Your judgment about something. That's attitude. Okay? That's what we mean by attitude. So, ang tanong, lahat tayo may attitude? Sir, of course. Okay? Lahat tayo may attitude. Which could be in favor or against of. Okay? That's what we mean by attitude. It is comprised of 4 components. See, even attitudes at yung 4 components. Cognition, the affect part, the behavioral intentions, and the evaluation. So when say cognition, we talk about the beliefs, the theories, the expectancies, okay, the perceptions. So this concept is not the same as feelings, but just a statement of beliefs and expectation which vary from the individual to the other. So it's about the beliefs, the theories that we have in mind. That's cognition. Some sort of related to receiving part or becoming aware of something. Next is the affective component or the affect. Okay, the affective component refers to our feelings with respect to the focal object. When say focal object, that's the recipient of your attitude, which could be a person, which could be an event, okay, which could be something, an idea. Okay, that's what we mean by focal object. It could be fear. Okay, it could be anger. Okay, it could be respect. It could be happiness. That's the affective domain. Okay? Example, loneliness. Ayan. Iba't iba tayo ng attitude toward loneliness. Yung iba, pag sinabing loneliness, sadness. Yan. Ang ganyan ang attitude nila. Pag sinabing loneliness, mag-isa, malungkot na lang. Isip nila pa yung concept about loneliness, malungkot na lang. But for some others, ang attitude nila about loneliness could be about peace, calmness, okay, relaxation. Ayan. So we have different attitudes depending on where we are coming from. Okay? Next is behavioral intentions. These are our goals, our aspirations, our expected responses to the attitude object. Okay, example, itaping loneliness. Balo mo masayaya, relax. Okay, what's your goal? Why do you want to be lonely? Of course, I want to let's say, for instance, my behavioral intention is for me to be alone, to reflect, to give myself a time to communicate with myself. Ayan, that's your behavioral intention. Okay? And it's part of the attitude part. Kaya, kumbaga ito yung purpose eh. Like when you see different things or you see different people, you have different judgment depending on our purpose in mind. Meron kasi nakikita mo, magaling naman. Pero dahil may personal kang galit sa kanya, behavioral intention ha, ang attitude mo, ay, biyasa. Panay ng marong nga kakit mo. Panay ng mali nga kakit mo. That's behavioral intention. Okay, that's what we mean by behavioral intention affecting the attitude. Kaya may apat siyang component, di ba? O kaya naman kahit maganda na yung tao, pero dahil ex niya, yung kaya kang current, let's say for instance, boyfriend or girlfriend, tsura, maputi yan, wala mo naman. Di ba? Behavioral intention kasi, kaya naapektuhan yung attitude mo. Okay, and of course, the last is the evaluation. Evaluations are often considered the central component of attitude. So we talk about the judgment. Okay, yung sinabi mo ng it's bad, it's not good, pangit, ayoko, pangit, ay, hindi ko gagawin, pangit. Okay, that's already the evaluation part. Nag-judge ka na. Anti tayo pala yung attitude. Apat siya components. So it starts with cognition, and then the affect part or the affective dimension, the behavioral intention, and the evaluation. Attitudes influence behavior, definitely. Like what I've said, your attitude towards something will dictate what type of movement, okay, language are you going to use. Halimbawa, may nagtanong sa'yo, madre, kaya ka malumanay manyalita pag madre yung kasabi mo. Ay, opo, sister. Gusto yamin po. Yan ang attitude mo kasi sa mga madre, kailangan malumanay. Pero nung kasabi mo, friend niya, okay? Yeah, ating kakukwento kayo. Ating pang-abeg tulak yan, balabag. Ngayon minsan ating pang mamamanagkas. Pero alam kong karela. Diba? That's what we mean by attitude. Okay? It affects the behavior. Pareho lang naman yung kinikwento mo. Kumbaga, pareho yung tanong nila, pero dahil magkaibang tao ang kausap mo, iba yung behavior mo. So I repeat, attitude influence behavior. Next, motivation, which is still part of the affective domain. Okay? The motivation, this is the reason or set of reasons for engaging in a particular behavior. And of course, you know what we mean by motivation. It's your drive. Okay? It's your drive. You know about extrinsic and intrinsic motivation na laging sinasabi sa inyo. Okay? Motivation source could be extrinsic or intrinsic. And it affects the type of emotions learners could show inside the classroom. Why? Well, motivated to listen. Ala lang interest in topic ka pamamanyabihan mo. Ala makaramdam din. They will, and if they will not listen, they will not learn. Kaya nga number one, yung motivation sa ating lesson plan. Okay. The Theory of Motivation by Abraham H. Maslow. Alam niyo na ito, di ba? Under psychology, I think you took this one. Okay, these are the things that motivates people to move. Okay, to act, to do something. Okay, sa baba, yung basic needs. Physiological needs like breathing, food, water, sex, sleep, hemostasis, and excretion. So this is about the physiological needs. Basic kasi kailangan sila ng ating katawan. We need to satisfy these needs in order to reach the next level. While the second level, which is known as safety, includes security of the following: the body, employment, resources, morality, the family, health, and property. And to cut it short, the hardest to achieve, that's why it's on top, is self-actualization, which includes morality, creativity, spontaneity, problem solving, lack of prejudice, acceptance of facts. That's the hardest to achieve. And sabi dyan, kaya nasa taas yan, you need to achieve first the lower level of the hierarchy in order for you to reap this part. So this is the theory of human motivation. Okay? Bakit nagre-recite of bata? Kasi, anong level of motivation yun? Kasi gusto niya yung reward na ibibigay mo kasi may pa-chocolate ka. Oh, that's under physiological need. But, if the child is reciting because he knows he will receive mark, that's still part of the lower level needs. Okay? It could be under for self-esteem perhaps, nasa taas na, no? Kasi sa intrinsic motivation na pinag-uusapan. Self-esteem, tamburi na, bakit na makantini niya. Okay? At nakakataas ng confidence yun. I want my classmates to believe that I am accountable, I am reliable. That's why I will recite often. Okay? It's about self-esteem. So yan, whenever we communicate with people, consider this theory of motivation to make them move para magsalita sila. Ibig sabihin, pag hindi ka sinusunod ng estudyante mo, simple lang yan, hindi siya motivated. Hanapin mo kung ano nagpapamotivate sa kanya. Okay? For you to be able to ask this learner to learn, to listen, to move. Okay, aside from the theory of human motivation of Abraham Maslow, we also have the two-factor theory of Herzberg, okay, otherwise known as the motivation and hygiene theory. So we have an example here for job dissatisfaction and job satisfaction. Under job dissatisfaction, this is influenced by hygiene factors. These are the hygiene factors inside the box: working conditions, co-worker relations, policies and rules, supervisor, quality, base wage, and salary. So when you say hygiene factors, these are factors that when they are present, okay, they do not motivate us. They are present. Okay? Pero pag wala sila, nakaka-demotivate. Kunyari, ayan, working conditions. Ating aircon, nilob ka, mag-apply ka, ating aircon. So parang wala lang kasi may aircon. Pero pag nawala ang aircon, ma-demotivate ka mo. Ay, makatamad, tawas. You understand that? Iba kasing motivation na yun yung dahilan kung bakit ka pumapasok. Eh di yung mga bagay na nandyan, kaya pag nandyan, hindi mo ma-appreciate. Pag pero wala, doon mo na hinahanap. Ay, wala mo ata. Parang siya lang, sir, mo kontan. Okay? That's hygiene factors. While the satisfier factors, ito yung these are motivating by themselves. Okay? Achievement, recognition, responsibility, the work itself, advancement, personal growth. Okay? So, in order for your learner, for the person you are speaking to, yung target object, kung sino man yun, subject, kung sino man yun, to be motivated, first, improve the satisfier factors. Improving the satisfier factors increases job satisfaction. Improving the hygiene factors decreases job dissatisfaction. Okay, walang para-wala mo, sir. Yes, kumbaga, dapat hindi mawala. Eh, di ba, pag merim layang merim na, may alunggong na lang, may alunggong lang, kung ano, lapabri magobrak. Ngayon, ang pa-jacket-jacket, takailo mo BMS Delphine King klase na makabuts siya kung sobra din bla. Tama, snow. Ay ba, len ko mo. Okay, understand? Alam na ang two-factor theory. So, which is easier to understand? Etong Maslow o itong kay Herzberg? Miss Virgo.
Yung ano po, kay Harrisburg po, kasi mas detailed po siya, sir.
Yeah, di ba? Okay. Actually, most critics yun ang sinasabi nila. Parola wavelength di Miss Virgo ang poretang critics sa reta. Ay ka na, Miss Virgo. Okay. Kasi mas detailed siya at simple, two-factor theory, ganun lang kadali. Okay, improve this one for you to have this one. Job satisfaction and job dissatisfaction. It could also relate to your classroom. Okay, pag sinabing job kasi, it could be the task that you give your learners. Okay, work condition. Nung walang electric fan, let's say, magal. Nanita, manlagkit da, king kilog classroom. Ay, tama karamdam da rin. Okay, improve first the dissatisfier. Okay? Okay, we also have the ERG theory of motivation. Ayan, level up sana maning Maslow hierarchy theory na, which is divided into three major parts. The existence, kaya ERG ang tawag sa kanya, existence, relatedness, and growth. I repeat, existence, relatedness, and growth. Ito naman yung ERG theory, simplify yung Maslow's hierarchy of theory. It's just the same, but with some changes when it comes to the use of terms. Plus, the three major divisions. Unlike yung sa Maslow's hierarchy of theory, hierarchy of needs, marami siyang division, yung physiological needs. Okay? Wala siyang three major divisions, the ERG. Okay? So under existence, we have safety and physiological, relatedness, like your relationship with people. We have social and partly self-esteem. And for growth, we have self-esteem and self-actualization. Okay, we've talked about attitude. We talked about motivation. Next, we have self-efficacy. Have you heard about self-efficacy? Ay,
Yes po.
react nito. Laway-laway laking dalam screen. Okay, good. So when saying self-efficacy, it is an impression that one is capable of performing in a certain manner or attaining certain goals. Example, may binigay na activity sa'yo. Pag ang self-efficacy mo ay napakataas, naniniwala ka na kaya mo. Hindi naman ito yung, yung sobra-sobrang confidence. Okay? Iba na yung tawag doon. Too much self-efficacy na yun. Like you know you can do it. Anong karo? Pero meron kasing mga activity na pag binigay sa'yo, alam mo na hindi mo alam gawin, kinakabahan ka na. Alaka ka rin kitang self-efficacy. So self-efficacy depends on your assessment of yourself toward an activity. Okay? It is a belief that one has the capabilities to execute the courses of actions required to manage prospective situations. Okay? So that's what we mean by self-efficacy. So it's part of the affective domain. Okay? Attitude, motivation, and self-efficacy. Okay. Now, since it's already time, I'd like you to study more about this assessment tools in the affective domain. Yung binanggit natin kanina. Okay, kung sa product based, kung sa process-oriented, may mga assessment tools tayong ginagamit, meron din sa affective domain. Okay? What are these? Okay, these are the three: self-report, rating scales, and checklist. May nakit kayong rubric. Alas, sir. Kasi masakit yung scorean. Let's say, for instance, ikaw mag-score, ikang teacher scorean niya. Ikayang emosyon na naman nararamdaman na, emotional development niya. Kunyari, kabit mo ka rin to appreciate the value of addition. Maka na may scorean ta, sige. Na yung level of appreciation. Kutnan niya. Okay, Pedro, amo mo. From 1 to 10, maka na may appreciating addition. Mga hanggang 9 na po sing appreciation cooking addition. Makita, alang makanta, okay? Etapa nula. So, usually, this is self-assessment. Okay, like yung self-report, pinapagawa natin sa bata yan. It's narrative. Like, you give them a situation, let them answer. Okay? Eto naman checklist, alam nyo na yan. Answerable lang yan by yes or no. Okay? Pwede rin dun sa checklist, observe and not observe lang. Okay? Yun naman sa ating rating scale, it depends on the judgment. Pinagawa na sa amin to, I remember when I was a child. Like yung level of happiness, pinapa-measure sa amin. Kami yung bahala mag-rate kung anong, parang may ruler na nakalagay dyan. Ay, by the way, dun sa mga pages na sinend ko sa inyo, okay? Meron yung sa bad side, sa right side, sa left side, and then merong scale. 0, okay, but 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, but 0, -1, -2, -3, -4. Ikaw ang bahala mag-check kung saan yung nararamdaman mo siya. Like, they will show you a picture and then titignan ko ano yung attitude mo toward that. Are you super happy to see that object or super sad to see that object? Kung sad ka, ano pang level ng sadness ang nararamdaman mo pag nakita mo yan? At ikaw yung sasagot na estudyante kung i-measure yan. Okay, not the teacher. Kasi ikaw makaramdam, ikaw makabal. Okay, so read more about that. Palo ko naman, mapamasa kayo. Kaya rin nanini for sure. I-browse yun rin. Eko matudtod. At i-closing kaya kayong phone. Eko mga na. Kalo pa ng mesensyante, makapangan niya nung may masa module. My God, sir, mamanga na akong friends. Okay, do you have questions? Ala. O sige, next week, you will have your very first quiz for the midterm shift. You study both the topics we discussed today and last week. Okay? So since you don't have